for tuning into Sin's Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be reviewing Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. I really like this book, but I do want to make a comment about the marketing because it does reflect a little bit on the story. So, it was marketed as an Ethiopian-inspired fantasy retelling of Jane Eyre. I love Jane Eyre. I really do. It is one of my favorites. Wuthering Heights is by far my favorite. But I do love Jane Eyre. I don't think that was quite the marketing ploy the publisher should have done with this book. Outside of the main character, you know, his name being Mr. Rochester. And they don't even use that. When she learns his name is Magnus, you know, she just calls him Magnus. That's it. I forgot that he was Mr. Rochester while I was reading the story. And other than that, I really didn't get any other Jane Eyre vibes from the storytelling. Yes, she goes to the house. She's a Depta, so she's there to expel a spirit from the house, like an evil haunting spirit from the house, right? And she falls in love with, you know, Mr. Rochester. Turns out he is harboring a secret. And it's something that he did know. It's more like a familial curse that unfortunately he inherited when he inherited this house. So kind of sucks for him, and he just wants to do whatever he can to expel the evil eye on this house. And he's tried other Deptas and they were unsuccessful. Because and this is where I really like the story. It's very involved, the exorcism. Andromeda, that's her name, has to go every time it manifests itself, the curse. And it doesn't always manifest in like a horrible nightmarish way, but every time it manifests itself in different rooms, she has to expel it from that room. So basically she's expelling the evil eye room from room so that it has no place else to really hide. And the other secret is he is tied to this curse. You know, it does physically affect him as well. He does have his own secrets like the original Mr. Rochester, but that's it. So I think when you're saying, oh yeah, this is an Ethiopian-inspired Jane Eyre retelling, you know, you're kind of misleading your audience here. You're kind of tricking them. And I think that does a disservice to the story because it doesn't need that disclaimer. It doesn't need that little blurb on its publication page. The story is rich. It is, like I said, it's very involved, but it's eerie, it's haunting. Andromeda is such a fierce character, but she also has so many insecurities that plague her, you know. Abandoned by her parents, well, actually not abandoned. She was pretty much sold off, or about to be sold off, and then her mentor, another Depta, who also has his own connection to this haunted house, took her in, made her his apprentice. And she wants nothing but love, you know. She loves this man like a father figure, but he's never said anything back to her, you know. So she feels like she is so unworthy of love, but she doesn't let that stop her from doing her job, and she's phenomenal at her job. She faces each haunting, and some of them are really horrific. Some of them are quite like, holy crap, that's scary. She faces them, and she faces the costs that go with it in such a profoundly like head held high kind of way. She is an empathetic character. She is someone that you root for. And even that romance that develops between Magnus and Andromeda, it's so heartwarming. Like at first he's like not really, he acts like he's not impressed with her, but he fell first in this respect. If you like that trope, he definitely fell first. But again, because of the curse, he also is like her. He feels so undeserving of her. He feels like he is not good enough for her, just like she feels like she is not good enough for him. So you have these two people who feel like they're not good enough for each other. It's just like, what are you talking about? you're a really good guy and you are a strong female woman. You guys balance each other out perfectly. And they do. They really do balance each other out and they lift each other up, especially when their own insecurities like want to tear them apart. And that's what I really thought was really rich and engaging with this novel. You know, you really become invested in the characters and their relationship. And that's another reason why I think like saying it's a Jane Eyre inspired retelling kind of deters from that, because you're kind of if you go into the book expecting it to be a Jane Eyre retelling because it's going to be your favorite, then I feel like you are going to be disappointed. You know? Because I am a Jane Eyre fan, as I've said. I do love Jane Eyre. And thankfully, because this book has been sitting on my TBR for like a while, I just picked up the book and I'm just like, let me just read it, right? Totally forgot what it was about. And then midway when I was reading it, I was just like, let me refresh myself on the plot. So I went Goodreads, read the blurb. I'm like, Jane Eyre inspired? Like what? Maybe that's how it started for the author. But man, Blackwood gave this story its own uniqueness and its own life that it doesn't need that disclaimer at all in order to propel readers into reading it. I mean, like it is enthralling, it is eerie, it is haunting, it is atmospheric, it has that kind of gothic vibe to it because you have this house in the middle of nowhere and it's kind of like it's on the moor, so I got a little Wuthering Heights vibes there once I read that disclaimer. But I think the story doesn't need that at all because the story is very solid on its own, you know. Especially that snowball scene. Like I said, one of the hauntings it's like a hallway and it starts snowing in the hallway. Magnus and her have this cute little snowball fight and it's adorable and I'm just like, this is the moment, like for you two. Like I love you guys. You know, it's emotional. You know, it makes you invested in the characters and it makes you invested in the story. It doesn't need that. It doesn't need that at all. So don't go into this. I know what it says. Don't go into it expecting the book is going to be a Jane Eyre retelling because I promise you, you'll enjoy it infinitely more without trying to look for all of those. In fact, I totally forgot about it. You know, halfway through I went to look it up and then I continued reading and I completely forgot about the Jane Eyre mention until I was done again and I had to write my review and I'm like, oh, that's right. It was supposed to be a Jane Eyre retelling because the story was strong enough and solid enough that I was captivated and I completely forgot about that. Like it was unnecessary. It's an unnecessary detail, you know, unnecessary. So on that note, I do have to give it 4 out of 5 stars. There were a little times where the pacing felt a little off. And there were just some moments where the pacing felt a little off and I think I would have liked it to be a little bit smoother. But overall, the story was so well done and enriching that, I mean, Blackwood, I'm reading The Dangerous Ones by Blackwood right now, and Blackwood's a phenomenal writer. I can honestly say that. They are phenomenal at making really good characters and putting together an amazing romance. Again, that snowball scene. Trust me, when you get to the snowball scene, you're going to be like, oh, this is wholesome, even though you guys are in a haunted house and the snow is haunted. The snow is a manifestation of the haunting. It's just cute. It's a cute, wholesome moment in an otherwise gothic, eerie, haunting book, you know? And that's what it means. Like, it stuck with me. I read this book 6 months ago, and it stuck with me. So, yeah, 4 to 5 stars. If you want to purchase it, I will, of course, include links in the description below on where you can purchase the book. And on that note, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.